to come in from the side.
Dan, I think you're on mute.
I was on mute. Okay, it looks like maybe, hopefully, Facebook connected. Okay, we are live on Facebook, and we are hopefully recording. All right, everyone, welcome to the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County August General Meeting. This is meeting number 83. As I mentioned, the meeting is being recorded and it is being streamed out to Facebook Live. The Facebook Live participants usually lag anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds behind the Zoom meeting, so I will try to take pauses periodically to ensure we're including the Facebook folks in our discussion. If they have any questions, if you are watching on Facebook Live, put comments in there. Bill has graciously agreed to monitor that for comments, so he will. I'll pause frequently, or Bill, feel free to interrupt if we need to. Devon, could I ask you to do an invocation for us?
Sure. Let's pray. Father, again, thank you for this day and our business of the day in regards to this point in time. Lord, bless our fellowship, our conversation, and even in these trying times, Lord, even we have technology, we can still meet. Thank you for that. In your precious name, Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Devon.
My dad's calling me.
Okay. Well, we just a quick overview of the agenda. We do have some applications for membership, several this evening, so that's a good thing. Quick treasury report, and vote in the minutes from the previous meeting. A few updates from some of our old business. Quite a few new business items. I don't know that we will run into anything that requires motions or votes, but we'll stand by for those updates from Aries and Amron. Quick review of motions. We do not have a presentation tonight, but what I thought that we would do is just kind of have an open forum discussion, questions and answers about the club, or really anything about ham radio. If anybody wants to bring, has anything that they want to ask, we'll take time during that section before we close the meeting out, and then we'll adjourn from there. We'll quickly do introductions for the Zoom participants. I'll do kind of a roll call for who I see in the window here. If anybody is out watching on Facebook, I would say go ahead and just put a quick comment in there so that we know who's there, and then I'll ask Bill to call out those introductions when we get done. So go ahead and do that while we're making the rounds here on Zoom. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Dan, N1ADM. Next, David, go ahead.
David Vine, WA1EAW.
Thank you. Randall, turn your video on. Make everybody jealous.
Randall, KN4FYG.
Live on location. Ray.
Ray, KJ4HZ.
Okay, and it's doing it again. They move around. If I call anybody twice, I apologize. Robert.
Robert, Kilo November 4, Kilo Quebec Juliet.
Okay. Jim, Cindy.
Jim, KV4YA.
And Cindy, KM4DBA.
Okay. Devon.
Yep, Devon, KM4PHT.
Bill.
Good evening, everybody. This is Bill, WK4F.
I see Eric there. Eric, are you able to chime in?
He did text is Eric KK4ZHT.
Okay. Chuck and Susan?
Okay, it's Susan, Whiskey Alpha Zero Bravo.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, they all moved around. I apologize. Walter?
That's Walter, W4EFS. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Walter. All right, I know I missed Rick.
This is Rick, NO3K, with Judy, K1. Go ahead.
K1UTE.
Thank you. I know this is kind of awkward. I apologize for doing it this way. I can't think of a better better method to do it on Zoom. Did we have anybody check in on the Facebook side, Bill?
We have a Rachel, but she didn't indicate what her call sign was. But we acknowledge her joining us this evening.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. I think Rachel is going to be testing soon, so she will have a call sign. Hopefully by our next meeting. We'll hopefully show up at our testing or do an online testing. Thank you for joining us this evening, Rachel. I don't think we have anybody joining us in an official capacity from other clubs, but David and Ray, I know that you're both on the board for ARCA. And David is going to join us for membership this evening. But anything from ARCA that you would like to share with us this evening?
Well, sort of. Sort of from ARCA. I'm doing some work on the Georgia On My Mind newsletter, and David Benoist is really interested in local clubs, what's going on. So I'm always open to putting a little something in there about the Augusta Club and certainly the Columbia Club. In fact, a couple of issues back, I did a story, I think it was something to do with Pete LaPierre's activity with American Red Cross. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that any suggestions for stories is good. Just get in touch with me.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. There's not a lot in the swap, sell, or trade page, but there's a few more. It's very likely that we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff going in there in the near future. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But it is there on our webpage, and I know that Amateur Radio Club of Augusta also has a swap page, so there's opportunities to look for some bargains. All right, so we have 5 membership applications this evening. 3 of these are recent. 2 of them are where the president has to admit fault for some oversight that should have been included in last month's. We have David, WA1EAW, who is joining us this evening. Scott McClooney, I don't know that Scott got online. Everybody got invitations. Terry Burton, who has been a member of the club, this is just reapplication into the club. Robert Rosier and Jack Stewart. All of these are folks are local, Augusta, I think one in Thompson. I do not have the applications in front of me right at the moment, but all licensed hams, all checked out on QRZ and everything. Would anyone like to make a motion to accept them into the club?
Yeah, he's hiding the geocache.
So moved.
Was that Rick?
Randall.
Randall, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, that was Rick. I got it that time. Rather than, are there any opposed to admitting these 5 gentlemen into the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County? Hearing no opposition, all welcome to the club. David, welcome to the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County. We're happy to have you. I will send welcome emails to everyone shortly after the meeting. So that's great. I don't think we have any other applications. A couple of reports here. I have the treasurer's report. Hopefully you can see it. I should mention that these slides are available on the club webpage under the meeting documents. These are already posted, were posted yesterday. So if you're having trouble seeing them coming across your screen, you can open them as a PDF and view them from home. But currently we have $1,558.96 in funding available. We actually have over 4,500, but we have a commitment to the repeater committee for some work on the repeater at Bel Air Road. So that's why we have 1,550 available. Anybody have any questions? Steve, the treasurer, was not able to join us this evening, but I have his full treasurer's report if anyone has any questions. Is there a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Okay, Rick, I heard another one there.
I'll second it. It's Jim.
Okay. Any discussion about any of the funding? I am happy to make this available to any club member who wants to peruse it. Okay. Is there anyone opposed to accepting the treasurer's report? Okay, it is so passed. The secretary's report, the meetings from our last minute, as well as any minutes from board of directors meetings are always posted on our website under the meeting documents. So if you do bring up these slides, all those that are hyperlinks, you can click into those to view reports. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from the July meeting?
So moved.
Is that Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second Randall.
Okay, Randall seconded. Any discussion regarding the minutes? Did somebody? Anyone opposed to accepting the minutes? Okay, minutes are accepted. All right, I'm happy to report that we got our latest donation from Amazon Smile. We had a $40.76 donation made around August 20th. So this is a gift that keeps on giving for us. If you're, I know that many other charities and people might have other charities, but if you don't have one and you would like to donate to Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County, we're listed in there as one of the charities you can donate to. It does not cost you any extra on your purchase, but I think we get like 0.5% or something like that from your purchase that Amazon gets us. So I always say it's anywhere from 1 or 2 club dues every quarter. So it's kind of a freebie that helps us do things. Upcoming events. We will have our board of directors meeting on the 6th. It will be online via Zoom. We have a VE test session scheduled on the 12th. That'll be at the EOC, I believe. Our September meeting coming up. Put a plug in for the fall swap meet for the Amateur Radio Club of Augusta. That's a good local event. Good opportunity for everyone. Also in October, Randall, I think I got these dates right. The Jamboree on the Air. I don't know that we have any special visits or anything planned, but sometimes we get approached to help scouts during Jamboree on the Air, and we would certainly support that.
Yeah, Dan, those are the correct dates, and I did want to bring up that it is not a full camporee that weekend, so we could potentially operate from Council, which is off of Bel Air Road. So I'll get more information from them and us and see what we could do for that.
Okay. David, that sounds like something you would be interested in if we do anything to help those guys out.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. But any additional information we get, obviously I won't we'll have a September meeting in between, but we'll share that information by email quickly. I really want to highlight the events coming up in October and November. Nominations for our Board of Directors election will be done at the October meeting on October 27th, and we will actually hold the election on November 24th. To install a new board of directors. We'll talk about a little bit about this in the business discussion coming up in a few minutes. And then, of course, in January, Winter Field Day. We still have the Bring Your Own Project workshop on the books to do. We've kind of held a little bit on the date because of some of the COVID and things like that. So we had like 8 people submit proposals. So we definitely want to carry through with it, but we just want to do it in a safe and convenient manner for everyone to hold that. Any questions about events or anybody have any other events that they would like to bring to the attention of the club?
I do have a question, Dan.
Okay, Jim.
It's been a while since I've fussed with the bylaws, but there is a defined period where you have to put out the information on I guess the people being nominated before you elect them. Have we met that time with the 27th to the 24th?
It's 2 weeks before, a minimum of 2 weeks before the actual election.
Okay, good.
And then the other thing from the bylaws is those nominated have to accept the nomination by the October meeting.
Good. Not
Okay.
that I'm worried about being stuck forever or anything.
Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit when we get into that's a topic of discussion tonight.
All right.
David, go ahead.
I bought this camera that I'm using right now for the specific purpose of wearing it on a headband and being able to work with somebody on Zoom and have that person see exactly what I'm doing while I'm doing it. And the reason why I bring this up is with regard to doing that project night. What are you calling it? Project night?
Bring your own project.
Bring your own project.
Yeah. So the idea there is that we would have people, we would actually engage with people before the date to ensure that they have the materials, but to have Elmers and assistants available on hand and kind of a partly show and tell, but partly to help people where they might be needing to get over a certain hump with their project.
Well, that little event is actually what prompted me to join. I signed up for the BYOP, and then I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, if I'm going to do that, I better join. But be that as it may, if it's decided that it can't be held for a while and you want to consider, trying an alternative, I'd be happy to, experiment with somebody and show, just play with this and see what it can do in terms of, say, working on a computer and having somebody give me direction or even a radio or whatever to kind of test out that possibility. Okay.
Well, and if we are able to have it in location, maybe it's an option if internet is available there to stream it out as well, so people who can't make it there can actually see what's happening at the location. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Okay, moving ahead. I have a handful of updates, really more than they are things that we'll need to vote on unless someone brings someone up in there. So we're still moving very slowly on the upgrades to the UHF repeater there at Bel Air Road. It's been off the air for over a year now. We had our initial site preparation, as everybody knows, on June the 6th. We have all the coax and the fittings needed, but determined that the 4-inch duct that we had in there would not accommodate both both pieces of coax, so we need to install an additional conduit. Right now, we're waiting for permission from the county because that's at the water tower site, and we don't just show up there and start digging around in the dirt in the county's property. But that, like many things, government is taking a little bit longer than we're comfortable with to get response, but we're still at it. Any questions? I know that I saw Robert, and I know Walter's here. Any questions about the repeaters and just in general?
That construction project, once it's just completed, would you send me a picture and I'll put it in the newsletter, the Georgia newsletter?
Absolutely. Robert or Walter, anything to add about repeaters?
No, not from me. As far as I know, we're just waiting to get back on the property to see if we can get this finished.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, getting a response has been not easy, put it that way. On to the storage of property. Based on what we kind of received from the members' preferences, we have the storage approved through the end of September. We do have a donation to extend it through October. The donation was specifically for the storage. That's a good thing because it gets us hopefully out of the hottest of the hot weather before we have to relocate. Also, it leaves us the place to hold this equipment until the ARCCC fall swap meet, so we'll have an opportunity to unload some things out of storage and take them there for sale. So donation subcommittee is already in the process of identifying which items will be retained and which will be sold. Before we advertise any of that stuff widely, an email and our webpage we'll send out to all members so that members kind of get first crack at any property that we're selling. There's a whole lot of different stuff. I mean, everything from radios to power supplies, but we are going to retain a number of items to use for club events. We're probably going to retain a radio kit that we can use for loan to, if a school club emerges. I know we have something kind of working with Evans High School, and we want to have a radio available for them should they get that club going. But anyway, everything will be made, anything that we sell will be made available to the club members. Then we'll advertise it, and we'll take things out to the fall swap meet for the Augusta Club as well. Hopefully that gets us down to a manageable amount. And then we may be looking for alternative ways we'll have a smaller amount, but alternative locations to store what we have left. Any questions or comments about this club property? Okay. In continuing, we had a proposal to do a Winterfield Day event where we had Amateur Radio Club of Augusta and Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County work that together. And I attended the ARCCC meeting last week, and I believe we're still planning to move forward with that project. So, the field day volunteers for both of our clubs will get together hopefully sometime and sort that out. That's coming up in January. We got a little bit of time, but that always, sneaks up on us pretty quickly. It's at the end of January. And then, as I mentioned, the Bring Your Own Project workshop, we are kind of on hold right now, just kind of due to some uncertainties with COVID. We were going to go ahead. The venue that we wanted was not available for the dates. October's pretty tricky time to schedule events because there's a lot of things going on around the community. But we will look at potentially October or November. We did have 8 people who sent in projects that they wanted to work on. So we will have a rich assortment of things. So I kind of just threw in there that, if it could accommodate both, maybe that could be concurrent with Winter Field Day activities where we would, have some operations going on in one side of the venue and be working on projects as kind of a learning activity at the same time. But we don't want to overcommit on things like that, but it's just an idea that was put forward. So any questions on that or any of the things in the old business, or does anybody have any items that need to be brought up?
Yeah, Dan, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
As me and David Carsiglia understood it, there was just a suggestion that we were going to do something jointly with Augusta, but nothing was really decided last meeting. Are you now telling us it's been decided?
Well, no, I think that you're exactly right. That it was the thing was to look into that, and I believe Augusta Club agreed to do that too. So we just need to get a point of contact so that you guys can talk and make a recommendation on whether we actually want to go through with that. And do it.
Well, David and I are ready if somebody, David Vine or somebody else, could tell us who the appropriate contacts are in the Augusta Club. David and I can go ahead and maybe start talking to these folks and make some suggestions.
Okay. David or Ray, would you be willing to carry that message back?
You know, I don't have the background with this club. Maybe Ray can either, I'm not offering him as a volunteer, but he's got, a lot of experience with both clubs, and he also knows very well the people in the Augusta Club. So I would defer to him.
Well, is there a field day committee in the Augusta Club been established?
Can I answer that? The straight up answer is no.
Okay.
That person has not been identified yet, or persons.
Okay. Well, David and I thought that probably, end of September, 1st October is probably, a good starting point for us to, start scratching our heads and, making some firm plans. But Dan, tell us where you want to go with this thing and we'll do it.
Well, I think I'll have to go back and double check that we, I think with the election of our field day committee, we pretty much made the commitment that we will do winter field day. So that's kind of where we are, is the Columbia County Club. So I think if we can get a representative or representatives from Amateur Radio Club of Augusta to talk to you, then when we have our September meeting, I think we can hopefully have a final decision by then of whether we want to do it jointly or whether we're going to move forward with it.
Let me suggest this. If you agree, I'll send Chris a email and ask him if he'd like to identify a contact to work with us.
I think
that would be appreciated.
Okay.
That would be fine, Robert.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll talk to David and we'll contact Chris and see where we go from there, okay?
Okay, thank you, Robert.
All right, no problem.
And I think we're going to have winter field day one way or the other, so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
David, I like it better than the summer one, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe we make it exciting.
There you go. Okay, that's all I have for old business. I have a few just updates. I don't think we had anything that required a motion in there. All right. So as I mentioned, I would talk about nominations and the board of directors. I would like to give out thanks to Stephen Kitchings, Randall, and Bill for. It was only a small amount of arm twisting that had to go into getting them to agree to be our nominations committee for 2020. Very, very small amount, but actually, no, I kid. I'm very grateful to them for taking on this task of contacting everyone and putting together a slate for our board of directors meeting. I mentioned it on the net. It's in the emails. This is probably one of the most important functions for us to do at the end of the year, to actually have a a board of directors that's been voted in by the membership to continue our club business going into the next 2 years. There are 3 of our positions that the incumbents are not running again. But regardless, I would encourage anyone to consider running for any of the positions. It's very healthy to have contested elections. That's a good thing. That signifies a membership that is interested in leading. But our election will take place during the November general meeting. We are gonna, if we're online, we will have to work through a process of how we do the balloting for that. Unfortunately for our committee, they'll work with the board of directors to figure out the way that we can do that in a transparent and secure way for everyone. Nominations are being sought currently. Emails have gone out asking for people to contact the committee with nominations or actually volunteering to be on there. But we will, at the October meeting, we'll actually accept nominations from the virtual floor on our Zoom meeting, unless we're at in-person meetings, and then of course we'll do it the traditional way. We have to present the committee has to present the slate to the club members by email at least 2 weeks prior to November. All the members got an email on August 17th requesting a response. Responding to that email will save you a direct email or a call from the nominations committee as well. So we actually want negative responses to that as well. I'll send a reminder email out probably around the 1st of September, but they will accept responses by email through September 15th, and then we will look to see who we might have missed, and they'll contact them then. Any questions about nominations or the board of directors? I probably should have included a link in here, but if you go to the web page, you can see the Constitution and bylaws. In there, there's a kind of a brief description of the positions and their duties. But if you're interested and just not sure whether you want to, that's not enough information for you to make a decision on, all of the members on the board are happy to talk to you about what we do, how we do it. And other than the things that are absolutely required by the position, once the new board meets, they usually kind of hammer out division of effort and things like that. I can't reiterate enough how important this is for the future of the club to elect a motivated board of directors. And I'll pause there to see if anybody has questions or comments about that.
Question?
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I did send mine in. My question is, are they responding that they got it? Or am I just, if I don't get a phone call, they got it? I mean, there's nothing that comes back to say they received the nomination, at least that I got.
Okay, I'm gonna defer to Bill or Randall and see if there's anything else they want to say about this. Actually, I should have.
That's a good point, Ray. I did receive yours. It's definitely appreciated that you put those names in, and we've reached out to all the nominees. I think I've heard back from all but one in general, just not from your slate. But yeah, it's a good idea, and I will start responding to those emails as well.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bill or Randall, anything else you'd like to add about this?
I just would like to tell everybody, please send in some nominations. We're reaching out to people and making sure that they do or don't want to accept the nomination. And if they do, they will absolutely make the slate. We would like to see a good election. And that's it.
Okay, thanks. The next 2 items, I'm bringing them in August. They don't really come up till the end of the year. We don't know what the conditions are going to be like at the end of the year, but they're both sort of related. First, we normally hold a Christmas party. We hold that instead of a December general meeting. In the past, we have just assembled at picked a restaurant, and made a reservation, and had a nice party there. In years past, we have made arrangements with Toys for Tots or different organizations, and have people bring unwrapped gifts, and we present those after the party as a donation from the club. COVID kind of throws a lot of uncertainty into that. I just wanted to kind of get it into people's mind that it's the end of August now, but December will come upon us pretty quickly. So I just wanted to kind of keep it in our mind that it's there. Related to that, we have our annual awards. We typically present those annual awards at our Christmas party. In fact, it's called Christmas Party and Awards Ceremony. Two awards this year. As we have done in the past, we will do the Thomas Coley Ham of the Year Award. That's just kind of the award that we give to the person that the club membership selects. Just kind of overall reflects the ultimate in ham radio, El Marine, active, and all different kinds of things like that. And this year we're going to do a new award for our club. I know a lot of other clubs do this award too, but we're calling it the Rookie of the Year Award. This is would be for somebody who's been licensed for 3 years or less at the time we call for nominations. We send out in September the award criteria and the nomination process. We like to get those nominations in written. It can be done one of either two ways. If the nominations committee wants to accept it, we can let them excuse me, accept the nominations and present those forward. Last year, we didn't have a nomination committee, so the board of directors accepted all of the nominations, and we did the selection process. We do, every board member got a copy of the nominations, and we did a blind ranking. In other words, we did not talk to each other about them. We did a ranking, and then we put those rankings together, added them up, kind of a golf score kind of thing, and the one that received the most votes for number one was chosen. But I haven't sprung this on Steve and Bill and Randall to see if they want to do it. But either way, we'll have a process to do that. Very important to note, and even though I say it again, I say it every year, just for transparency and kind of honesty, board members are not eligible to receive the award since we were part of the selection process. We typically still sometimes get a nomination for a board member. Past board members are fine. So you'll be hearing more about these awards, but be thinking about who you would like to put forth for to be recognized for either or both of these awards. Any questions, comments, or concerns about Christmas Party Award Ceremony and our annual awards?
Hey, Dan, this is Bill. Is there any kind of, a list of people who won these awards in the past, or past board members for that matter?
Kinda. We've talked a lot of times about getting.
I've been a club member for about 2 years, and so I don't have a lot of history. So I was just curious.
It's been kind of on our to-do list to create a web page that has all that information. We usually have something in there about the past winner, but for history's sake, yeah, we do need to put that together. There is a page about the Thomas Coley Award, but I'll work with Rusty to see if we can assemble that page. It shouldn't be too much trouble to do that. And probably at the September meeting, we probably will push September, maybe October, just because this year is so wonky. Look for volunteers. Well, first we'll see if the club wants to pursue doing an annual Christmas party, and then we'll be looking for a volunteer or two to kind of organize how we do that. So that's just a fair warning of that coming up. And then finally, resuming in-person meetings. We're just kind of in a month-to-month now of whether we, whether it's safe enough. Board consulted this time, talked to the Columbia County EOC, and we kind of all together decided that it wasn't the right time. We will still do the VE test there on September 12th. VE tests do not have quite as many people and in a confined space that a meeting does. So we felt like that was safe to do. Just based on some information that I've had recently, we may lose our access to the EOC for meetings in a couple of months. I would ask club members and the board, we will definitely talk about this at our meeting next month to consider when we do resume meetings, any other locations that might be appropriate for that. We'll work closely with the Augusta Club. We were meeting at the same location that they were, just on a different week. If the POB 1 over at Doctors Hospital is available, it's an option, but it may not be an option. Any questions?
Why are we losing the EOC?
I'll talk to you offline.
All right. Well, I got a suggestion.
Personnel changes.
Okay. All right. We meet at either Walmart or Home Depot. Both those are COVID free.
That is apparently true. But we'll kind of keep. I mean, obviously, we won't. If there's any concerns, about the club membership, the other thing I think about meetings is even if we feel safe about having in-person meetings again, I would like to figure out a way that we can actually stream out on the internet from that location, so that people who don't feel comfortable coming to the location can actually see and participate in the meeting. That was one thing nice about the EOC. They had a good internet connection in there, and we could have streamed out easily. But hey, we're hams. We can figure out a technical solution for this, I believe.
Comment?
Yes, Ray.
You mentioned the Doctors Hospital thing. Of course, we're still waiting to get back in there, but we did have a good relationship with both clubs meeting there. Since we're both 501c3s and we do have a mutual member that works there, we may be able to push them to allow us both to come back in there. Two's better than one.
Yep, I would agree with that.
So I just throw it as a suggestion.
Okay, thanks, Ray. I mean, this will be a board of directors topic at our next meeting to start that process. We will definitely coordinate with the club and or with the Augusta Club to extol the virtues of allowing us both to meet there. I mean, we're pretty light touch on the place. We didn't cause them any problems other than having a guard to have to come lock the place up after we were done. But
yeah, and they get paid to do that, so that's kind of the benefit. But I'm just throwing that out there because we did it before. It was a good location. It does have the internet that you wanted. You can also stream. We've talked about streaming our meetings, and that we haven't moved out of there. We're just waiting to move back in, and we haven't been told we can't use it. So I'm just suggesting that if we both are asking, it may open up quicker. So
okay,
throwing it out there.
Thanks, Ray. Any other new business? Like I said, we didn't really, this was just probably more informational and kind of setting us up for things in the next couple of months. But is there any other business anyone would like to bring up? Okay, moving ahead. I don't know how many committees we have represented here. We kind of had nomination already. Devon, anything on net control?
Hold up, coming on. No, we still have our usuals. Of course, I've dropped off, so because of just some stuff here. I always need folks because there. Training a couple guys to come back on, or new guys that we have. So just think about that, and just Just read the script once a week. All you need to do.
Okay,
That's
thanks,
all I
Devon.
got there.
You were a little bit D-star there for a couple of your comments, but
Yeah.
I think we got the gist of it.
My wife's using streaming in the other room. So.
Gotcha. You probably messed up her movie, Devon. Sorry about that.
She's like, no, she's doing something educational. She is.
Okay. Let's see.
No movie yet.
Robert, anything else from field day that we didn't already cover?
No.
Okay.
David and I have talked just a little bit. We're going to meet here pretty soon and start knocking some ideas around to start talking to the officers of the club about what we may or may not do, where we do it. You know,
Okay.
try and make things a little bit more exciting, maybe.
Okay.
Are you, which David are you referring to?
Carsigla.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I know we talked about repeaters. Walter, anything on the repeater front that we haven't already covered?
No, everything seems to be doing fine.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if we have any updates from VE. Okay, I kind of skipped around. Richard's not here for trustee, and Samantha's not here, so. Okay, I know that Pete's not online. Does anybody have any info or news about Aries to share with the club? Usually we have Pete provide information to us. Okay. Devon, any updates from Amron?
I'm doing it right now. I was in some traffic. Well, we we've been trying to deal with what we call one-on-ones. We're still just like else, but no exercise. We've been doing some exercise, some what we call brevity protocol type exercises, and working with JS8. So that's been pretty interesting. And everybody's getting prepped for the 2 hurricanes, tropical storms, and the season of September. And that's about it for Amron.
Thanks, Devon. I also see that Laura popped in on Facebook. Hello, Laura. Sorry if we acknowledged you late there. All right. The only motions that we had were to accept members. That was passed. To accept the treasurer's report. That was passed. And to accept the minutes. That was passed. I don't believe we had any specific assignments, maybe other than really to begin, other than discussions with ARCCC once we know who their field day representation will be. IO information to the club about nominations. And also we will be sending out next month the awards criteria and call for nominations. And we will be discussing when it's appropriate to move and what meeting location. And we probably will look at POB 1 as one of our alternatives there. Is there anything that I missed in that, because my notes are not great. I'll compare notes with Devon later.
What's the same? I don't think I missed anything. Sounds about right. Based on
Okay.
what I got on the legal. Yeah.
Okay. Without Samantha, we're in trouble, y'all. So,
May I add a comment?
Yes, sir.
Just for those that are listening, the Amateur Radio Club of Augusta is running something we're called the Summer Sizzler. It was running this month and it'll run through October. It's a whole bunch of different things that you can get points for making contacts online. HF, VHF, satellite, digital, CW, traffic messages, WinLink, all kinds of things. They all have different point values. If you're interested in just doing some of this, go to our website under the events and click on Summer Sizzler. All the rules are there and the point values, and you can even download log. Everyone is eligible to win certificates and prizes. Now, I have to caveat that only the club members, our club members, are eligible for the cash prizes. but you're eligible for the other awards and certificates if you want to play. So I'd just say, go take a look at it. You might have some fun. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Ray.
Quick question. Let's see, what was I going to ask about? I was so engrossed in listening to Ray here.
Flattery will
Okay.
get you everywhere.
Maybe I'll think of it in just a sec.
Okay. I'll put out the typical call. So we welcome anybody that wants to give a presentation. We can do presentations while we're in this online mode. So if anybody has something that they would be that they would like to present to the club, it can be ham radio or really any kind of probably technology related, or if it has a wide cross section of interest, we will certainly entertain having it as a presentation. We would ask that now you consider the format of the presentation if we have to go online. Also, if you don't feel comfortable making a presentation, but you have an idea for a presentation or a presentation that you would like to see, please send those in. president@arccc.org. Same address that all of our club mailings come out from, and just send me an email, and we will work to see if we have somebody who can cover that topic in a presentation. Also, I'm willing to look out there. One of the benefits of actually having online meetings is that we can have guest speakers from another location. We don't have to worry about them traveling in. There are a lot of them out there. I have one. This one is actually with a club member, but we do have one that we are looking at presenting either in September and October that I think will be interesting. This will be from Ruth Willett, who you might, some club members probably know. She's really big into the satellite, but she's also been on youth de-expeditions, and she has some really great at Morse code. Anyway, she gives really good presentations. David, go ahead.
I remembered now. The storage situation. What after you bail from the commercial storage? What are you going to be doing for storage?
We will most likely be storing at 1 or 2 or 3 members' locations. So what we will probably maintain is radio kits and some computers and just a few things like that. We won't have an expansive. We had a lot of donations of equipment kind of come along at one time that sort of overwhelmed our ability to do it in that way. But now we're just looking to kind of right size and eliminate a monthly expense. Okay, like I said, we do not have a formal presentation for tonight. We ran almost up to an hour talking about all these different events anyway, but really this is an open forum for anyone who wants to bring up anything, whether there's something you want to tell the membership, if there's something you want to ask the board of directors or the committees of the club. If you're just looking for some advice from an Elmer, or you want to talk about a project you're working on and have a question, I will turn the microphone over to anyone who wants to ask a question.
Well, hey, Dan, this is Bill Clark. Not really a question, but I'd just like to share an experience. Last week, I recently bought me one of these handheld arrow antennas, 2 meter and 440 or 70 centimeters. And so I was my goal was to do APRS with my D74 with the International Space Station. So we had a perfect pass one afternoon last week. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like almost directly overhead. And so I was able to do the APRS packet exchange with the International Space Station. I was super proud of myself. Thought that was wonderful. But then on my way to work Monday morning, I was over on not Gordon Highway, excuse me. I was on 520, right about Gordon Highway. And I got the 5100 in the truck, and it was just scanning through the frequencies. And one of the frequencies it has in it is the International Space Station's voice uplink and downlink. And all of a sudden, there's a guy talking on the International Space Station downlink frequency. At, for us, it was, 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. And so I listened to him for a minute, and it was actually the space station. It was NA1 ISS. He was having a conversation with a ham up in Massachusetts, I believe. Obviously, I couldn't hear the guy in Massachusetts, but they were getting ready to do a school, an interaction with a school in Australia. And I guess they were waiting to get back around the earth to Australia so they could do that. And in the meantime, one of the Americans, I guess, who had an American accent, was on there, and he was making contacts. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to break into the discussion, but that is one of the things that's now on my bucket list, is to make a contact with the actual International Space Station. I know I can hear them, so the next thing to do is to get them to hear me. So I just thought I would share that. I know a few folks in the club do satellite stuff. I haven't actually made a satellite contact yet, but the APRS thing got my appetite going, and I had a great time with that. So I just thought I'd share that this evening.
I appreciate that, Bill. That is a good story, and I think it's kind of a interesting reminder to maybe actually have that have those frequencies plugged in, and you never know what you might hear.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Rick McKnight. First of all, that is something I've been trying to do. I do a lot of work with the satellites, but my bucket list has long included catching the ISS. The uplink frequency for FM is different from the other frequencies that are used. The downlink stays the same. It's 145/800. The uplink, I want to say, is 145/490, and it's rare. It's in years past. Apparently, the astronauts were much more active, and when the U.S. turned over the use of the the command of the satellite or the ISS over to the Russian contingent, it seems like their FM activities dropped off a whole bit. If you're interested, that arrow is perfect for both linear birds as well as the FM birds. But if you're interested, I can go ahead and assist with that. And there's a great piece of satellite software. It's free. It's called SatPC32, and you'll find links to it at the AMSAT. It's called AMSAT is the website, but they have links to downloading this free software, and it's really amazing because it handles all the Doppler. It handles all the Dopplers. It also handles telling you where to point your arrow. If you happen to even have a azimuth elevation rotator, it'll even control your antennas for you. But if you're interested, you're more than welcome to look me up. I can go ahead. My email is on my QRZ page, and I'll be glad to give you whatever information I have.
That'd be great, Rick. I appreciate that. I do use a program similar to that on the Raspberry Pi that I've got back here behind me, but I don't think I have anything like that on the actual PC, so I'll look into it.
Hey, Dan.
Yes.
This is the kind of stuff we're thinking about doing some workshops at Winter Field Day with digital modes, satellites, maybe winding towards or bottoms, making antennas and having a meter there to check and see how good your antenna is. There's a lot of people that, don't know the basics. I'm finding out that probably could benefit from some of this stuff. And some people just never tried it. because it didn't know where to start.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. There was, I noticed that there was a comment on the Facebook page from Rachel saying that her new dream is an ISS contact. And Rachel, yes, when they refer to birds, they are referring to satellites. That's a good question. Really good question. Yeah, it's something I haven't done either, and actually, it's starting to sound like it might be a pretty good presentation topic, an introduction to satellite operating. There's some good books out there. Ruth Willett, who I mentioned, has done. She actually did a workshop for us. She's very good at this. You know, she roves and travels to different places. It's a workshop. It'll work as a presentation, but it really works great as a workshop to have people there to actually see the contacts. Last year, we were asked by the STEM Club of Augusta that they had. It's a STEM program club that supports young women in school grades. They asked us to do just give them an overview of amateur radio, and Ruth was there with us and actually gave them a demo and made some contacts over the satellite and let some of the members of that club. Let me just tell you, they were just amazingly enthused with hearing those contacts coming from across the country on a satellite. It was very cool.
Well, it's not that hard.
Hey,
You got multi-band radio for $100. You can get an arrow antenna, and you can actually build one for even less than that.
Yep. David, go ahead.
Yeah, I got two questions. One relates to that arrow antenna. What model build were you using, and were you satisfied with it?
I used the dual band one. It was I forget what they call it, the 144 slash 440 BP. You know, it's the one that splits in half, and it's got the duplexer in it. I mean, not that for APRS, I didn't need the duplexer. I was just on the 2 meter APRS frequency for ISS. But and then of course in my truck, I'm driving down the road, and so I just had the normal truck antenna when I actually heard the space station. The guys on the voice frequency.
Bill,
Thanks.
I've got the same antenna, and I use my hand. I've got a compass taped to the handhold on it, and you estimate the altitude, and you just turn it and twist it until you hear the satellite. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, but I'm very satisfied with it. It's lightweight, although particularly with an APRS pass, which could last up to 8 or 9 minutes, your arm gets tired after a while, and you have to switch. Switch the radio to the other hand, and then but yeah, I'm very satisfied with it. And Robert's right. You can with a compass or your cell phone, either one, you can know exactly where it's going to rise and how it's going to pass over, and where it's going to set, and then you just kind of track right with it.
My other question was about the Kenwood THD74. Does anyone have one, or do people in the club have one of these radios?
That's the radio I used for that. Yes.
You've used it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the one I was using for APRS. There aren't that many APRS handhelds out there. I can't remember if the D72 is APRS or not. And then there are a few mobile stations that are APRS. But yeah, I'm very satisfied with it. It's actually a tri-bander. Of course, there's not much 220 traffic around here, but It's a really good radio. I enjoy it.
The reason why I ask is, I have been, well, thinking back to the beginning of the computer days, there were all these user groups and they'd get together and exchange software and talk about problems, et cetera, et cetera. It seems to me, with Kenwood being in Georgia, that, user groups might be a feasible idea. And I just thought I'd mention it and, throw it out to see if anybody has thought about that or what they think of it. For user groups for specific radio models.
There are. They're on Facebook. There's a Yazoo group, Kenwood group, and for specific radios. Now, the problem you have is if you ask a basic question, you're liable to get a lot of crap from people. They're not very considerate of people asking innocent questions.
Yeah, there's another organization, groups.io, which is kind of your old list server type of thing, a little more sophisticated, kind of an evolution of what was the Yahoo groups. And there are a lot of different either radio or sort of topical things on that. I have I just get the digest from them because I don't want to get overwhelmed by emails, but there's usually for any type of radio, it's on there. I will say for satellite operations, Twitter is very, very heavily used by a lot of amateur satellite enthusiasts. So it's a good place to kind of go, if you just do some search terms like AMSAT and stuff like that, you'll start running across quite a few of them. In fact, Ruth KM4LAO is a very active Twitter operator on there with her exploits. And I know Rick is very active in satellite too.
I was going to say, I can solve one problem right now, and that is underneath the that little foam handle on the arrow, it's threaded. If you take off that little foam handle, it's deliberately threaded on 2 of the 4 sides for a standard tripod screw. So if you have a photographic tripod, you can go ahead, instead of tiring your hand out for trying to point at the satellite the whole time, you just set it on a tripod, set it for anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees elevation, and then you only have to move the tripod about 3 times for an entire satellite pass. The arrow is pretty broad, and it's probably got about a 50-degree spread of coverage, a fan-shaped spread, and so you can go ahead and use that rather than trying to fiddle with 1 or 2 radios, all the cables and stuff, and the antenna all at once. I found that was really helpful if you want to go ahead and do either the APRS or a satellite.
Thank you. And by the way, for those who aren't aware, tripods usually have one of these up and down and back and forth kind of heads. But with some of the better video-oriented tripods, they have what's called a fluid head. And you can set it to a certain friction level so that when you move the handle, if you have to move the handle, you can just tap it. You don't have to unscrew things and, go back around. So just thought I'd mention that for anybody that might be interested.
Cool. This is what I was hoping for with this, getting the good pro tips in here. Appreciate that. All right, that was.
Hey, Dan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a text from Eric, KK4ZHT. Somehow you can't get audio in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
He said he suggested a presentation on military HF radio history. David M. Fielder, discussion and presentation. I asked Eric, was he going to do the presentation? He hasn't responded. But, that was
Okay.
one suggestion. So I wanted to put that out because he can't get his audio to come in.
Okay. Yeah, we might actually, even in this location, be able to find some people familiar with some military radio history. You never know, being the Signal Corps and all.
Yeah.
But that's what I would like. Anyone who has any, like I said, it doesn't have to be you giving a presentation. If you have an idea for one, we will go out and search. If you already are aware of someone and you just want us to kind of help see if we can go secure them for a presentation, we'll be happy to do that.
One thought on that military radio presentation. Don't forget the museum there, not a field trip to the museum, but finding out who's in charge and inviting them to do a remote presentation. That would be good.
Yep, and there is actually an amateur radio club over on Fort Gordon as well that might be a good point of contact to get into that as well. Appreciate that comment. Hey, I see David. Thank you for so David, I see your post on Facebook there. Please contact us for anything that we can do, jointly to kind of make these presentations of broad interest to people. We appreciate that. All right, anyone else? Starting to get dark earlier, I see. Okay, well, if there's no additional discussion, I'll just a couple of things here. If there are any questions in general about anything, I'll pause for a moment. We'll pause for a long moment to see if anyone on Facebook has any, or if we get any in chat, or if anybody on here. While we're waiting for Facebook, anyone on the Zoom meeting have any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, just kind of hanging out to make sure nothing pops up in there on Facebook.
Yeah, I appreciate you keeping me straight with that, Dan. I got to running my mouth and then looking at my phone, and I forgot about the other screen sitting over here. So
yeah, well, I was able to finally pull it up on another screen, but my attention span is not good for multitasking. So, and okay, I don't see anything there. So we just need, we're looking for one more motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I made the motion.
Okay, that's
Vaughn.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second, Ray.
Ray, second. Any discussion? Any opposed to adjourning the meeting? 3, 2, 1. Okay, the meeting is officially adjourned. I have 8:12 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the meeting. I'm going to stop the recordings. And I'm going to stop the Facebook Live.
Dan, one of these times we got to have a virtual after meeting